Hello lovely people, and welcome to this video. So this is the first of my videos after the summer 2024, coming back to the yoga practice after a break. And the reason I've had a break is actually because I had a nasty injury, so I'm having to be really gentle, really look after myself, really listen to my body. So this is a very gentle practice, and there will be places where you can do more than me if you're feeling that you can, but I'm really going to encourage everybody to really be as very gentle as they can. So before we get going, I'm going to just invite, if you would like to subscribe to my channel, please. That's really helpful. Give me a comment, that's even more helpful. And if you would like to make a donation for the video, then you are welcome to contact me. My email is at the beginning and end of the video. So over the next weeks, these videos are going to be focused on various different parts of the body. Today, the sort of emphasis is on the hips, but there are other places as well. And we're working specifically over the next couple of weeks with the idea of emotions being held in the body. And the reason that we're working with hips is because the hips have got really big muscles all around here, muscles and bones obviously, and emotions, a lot of emotion can be held in the hips. We're working over the weeks with the face-to-face classes. We're working with a thing called the 4 agreements, and this is a Toltec tradition. Very simple but very powerful teachings. If you're interested, you can look it up. The guy who wrote the book was called Don Miguel Ruiz, and it's a really beautiful piece of wisdom, so I would really recommend it. But on the videos here, we are just working with the postures. So we're going to begin by coming into a nice, comfortable, quiet seat, closing the eyes or lowering the gaze, and bringing the attention into the nose. So just allowing the air to move gently in and out through the nose. So the invitation here is to allow the breath to let anything that doesn't serve you be taken deeply into the ground, into the earth, where it can be absorbed. Beautiful. So I'm going to invite some little movements now. So we're going to bring the arms up and over the head, and if you want to, you can take your gaze up to look between the hands. And then when we come down, we're going to come into a twist. So opposite hand to knee, the other hand out behind, looking to the side and breathing in, imagining yourself being pulled through a cord from the crown, and then as you exhale, moving a little bit further into the twist. So we can take a couple more breaths here. Inhale, rising up through the crown, and exhaling into the twist. Last one, rising up through the crown and exhaling. So now we're going to come round to the centre again, bringing the arms up, looking between the hands, and exhale, we're going to go the other way. So inhaling here, rising up through the crown chakra, and exhaling into the twist. 2 more of these. Last inhale here, raising up and exhaling gently into the twist. Beautiful. So we're going to come back round to the centre, and I'm going to invite you to just change the cross of the legs. So I'm just going to bring my other leg forward in front of this one, and we're going to do it again. So same thing, raising the arms up, looking between the hands, but this time we're going to go the other way first. So inhaling, looking to the side, and exhaling into the twist. 2 more breaths here. And last exhale, and then we're going to come back through the other way, exhaling into the twist. Last time here. And then we're going to bring the arms all the way up, look in between the fingers, and then letting the hands down. We can close the eyes, just take a moment here to feel the effects of your practice. Beautiful. So from here, we're going to bring the hands down onto the mat either side, and I'm going to invite you to bring the feet out in front here. Now, if having the knees lifted up high like this is too much, you can always take your feet out a bit, but still having the knees bent, just doing what's right for you. Hands kind of slightly behind you and on the mat, and all we're going to do is to roll on the feet and drop the knees down as far as they'll go. So I have to be really careful because I've got an injury on my right, the back of my right hip. And then inhaling, coming up to the other side and going down the other way. So I'm not going very far. Doing what you can do, inhaling and repeating it again once on each side. Beautiful. So we're going to come back to the centre position here, and I've got to take my legs out a little bit to do this because I have to be really careful, but you can keep your legs up here if that works for you. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the hands back down and raise one foot, it doesn't matter which one you do, and put the ankle onto that knee, flexing this foot so that makes it really engage the muscles. And then we're just going to do the same thing. So we're going to roll over to one side and then inhaling back up to the top and rolling over to the other side, just going to where you can go. Doing that once more each way. With the breath, so exhaling as you go down. Beautiful. So then we're going to come and drop the foot down and maybe just take a moment here to feel the difference between the two sides. And then we're going to do it on the other side. So on this side I have to take my knee further down. So doing what's right for you. And we will roll again one side. And then over to the other side. Once more each side. Beautiful. So I'm going to invite you now to come and lie down on your back on the mat with your heels behind the bottom into semi-supine. So it may be that you might want to have a belt if you feel like your flexibility isn't so brilliant. So if you want to stop the video and get a belt, then do go ahead with that. So we're going to come into this nice semi-supine. So head down, hips down, hands by the bottom, soles of the feet behind the hips here. So we're going to begin taking some pelvic tilt. So on an exhale, we're going to drop the lower spine down to the ground, feel the tailbone slightly lifting. And then inhale and allow the spine to come back to its natural state. We'll do that again. So exhale, dropping the lower spine, and inhale back. So this time we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to raise the arms on the inhale. So exhaling, lower spine to the ground. Inhale, raising the arms up above the head to touch the ground behind if you can. Bending the elbows fine. Exhaling, coming down again, lumbar spine coming down to meet the earth. And inhaling up. Now this time, as we exhale, we're going to bring one knee, it doesn't matter which one you do, bring one knee into the chest and squeeze it towards the chest, and we can rotate the ankle one way and then the other from here. Beautiful. And then what we're going to do from here is we're going to put this ankle just like we did a minute ago when we were sitting, but we're doing it on our back this time. We're going to put that ankle onto that knee and push this top knee away a little bit. And then from here I'm going to invite you to bring your hands back down beside the body. And then we're going to very gently, on an exhale, see if you can lift the bottom foot off the ground. So this is beginning to open the hip a little bit here, but it's also a bit of core, it's a bit of abdominal work here. So you can exhale as you bring it in, and then inhale, release the foot back down. Maybe do that 1 or 2 more times. And then the next time that you exhale and bring the knee closer in, you can take the hands and thread the needle through. So this is where if it's hard for you to reach around this leg, you can get your belt that I've got here and put it around this knee to help you to reach. So if you need that, you can do that. If you're really flexible, unlike me, you can always take the hands round the front of that knee, but to me that's a bit much for me. So while we're here, as we exhale, gently pulling that knee and foot towards you, but at the same time seeing if you can drop the shoulders down and drop the tailbone down. And as you inhale, you can just release a little bit. Lovely. Then we're going to drop that foot down, and we're going to take this knee all the way over. So just let it go as if you were sitting in a chair. And from here, we're going to open the arms up and then drop. We're rolling on that foot and just dropping those knees down to where they go. And seeing if you can rest something on the ground so you're not your legs aren't waving, aren't hanging. And then you're looking over the other arm. Beautiful. 5 long breaths here. Lovely. So then we're going to bring that foot back up, uncross the legs, and then we're just going to do the same thing on the other side. So if you need to drop this knee down a bit, if it's a bit too much to have the knee right up like this, just do what you need to do. Start by pushing this knee away a little bit, opening the hips. And then we're going to take hands down by the sides of the body, and on an exhale, raising that lower foot up. Inhale, release. Beautiful. Raising the foot up. And inhale, release. Last time, and this time, if you need a belt, use a belt. Otherwise, hands behind the knee or in front of the knee, depending on your flexibility. What I didn't say here was that you can push, on the other side rather, was that you can push the raised knee out a little bit with the elbow, if that works for you. And then just allowing yourself maybe to have a little rock here. As you exhale, just gently pulling that knee in a little bit further towards you, feeling how that opens the back of the raised hip. Beautiful. So then we're going to drop that foot, lower foot down, taking that knee all the way over, opening the arms, and we could drop down to the other side. So just doing what you can do, looking over the opposite arm, looking after yourself. 5 lovely long breaths here. Lovely, so then coming back up to semi-supine. So from here we're going to come up into all fours. So I always like to pad my knees. You can have a blanket or one of these soft blocks or whatever suits you. And we're going to come with hands slightly in front of the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. And we're just going to do a couple of cat and cows just to mobilise the spine a little bit more. Beautiful. So then we're going to sit back and we're going to take a moment in the toe squat. So if this is really impossible for you, I've got my my toes tucked under, then you can always come up into high kneeling here, just taking the weight back. It's so good for the toes, even though it might be really painful if you've got a bit of arthritis or whatever, but it's really, really helpful. And then from here we're going to come to a seated position. So because I have very tight hips, I mean I always have tight hips, but they're extra tight at the moment, I'm using 2 blocks to sit up on so that I'm a bit taller, because that can really help with the movement. So we're doing a pose which I think is called a fire log pose or something like that. And so what I'm doing is I've got this leg coming straight out to the knee and then bent over, and the foot is flexed. And then I'm going to, see, I have to be very careful on this side with this leg. If I can bring this foot, this ankle, and put it up onto this knee. Now that might just be completely impossible for you. And if it is, then what you can do is you can have, not up on a high thing like this, but if you were lower down, you could have the leg out and just do it straight onto the leg, or you could have something underneath the knee and do it like that, or even down like this. So just doing what's right for you. So I'm going to have this ankle on here. So I've got both feet flexed, and that really helps with the stretch. This is really intense for me. You can see I've got a big gap here, so my hips are very tight, and that's why I need to do this. So we're going to just take, I'm going to bring my hands down, and we're just going to take 5 long breaths here, and see if you can really just breathe into the opening of these hips. Like I said at the beginning, the exhale, just allowing anything that doesn't serve you coming out of the hips and dropping down into the earth. Beautiful. So then we can take the feet out and give the legs a little bit of a wiggle, and then we just do it the other way. So bring the other foot over, or leave it out if that's what you're doing. Taking that knee, so this is coming straight out from my hip joint here. Foot is flexed, and then I'm going to bring the other one on top. As you can see, I'm still got a lot of gap here, so I've got a long way to go with this, but of course we're not trying to get anywhere in yoga. We're not trying to say that we're no good at doing a pose, because actually poses are completely different for each person. It's not about what you look like. It's about how much engagement you are prepared to undertake in the practice. So everybody doing their best, and their best is different on every day, and everyone is different. Everyone's body is different. So no comparing yourself to anyone else, just being yourself. Lovely. So now we're going to come and do some breathing. So nice comfortable seat, something that you will be comfortable in for a while. It's fine to be in a chair if you'd be more comfortable. I'm going to talk you through the practice, and then I'm going to suggest that you pause the video and do the practice for 5 or 10 minutes and then start the video again. So we're going to begin by closing the eyes or lowering the gaze, bringing the awareness into the nose again, feeling the air moving gently in and out through the nose. And then I'm going to invite you to begin to bring in your full yogic breath. So this is where you breathe into the abdomen, then up into the main part of the lungs, and then right up to the collarbones. And when your lungs are fully expanded, you then just allow the breath to move out. So working with that for a moment or two. And once you've established that, then I'm going to invite you to bring a count into the inhale of either 2, 4, 6 or 8. So bringing a count into the inhale and into the exhale, and making them so that they're the same count. So it might be that with your natural exhale that you want to try and make the inhale a little bit longer, or it might be that you want to make the exhale a little bit shorter. So just work with whatever works for you. And we are going to be just being aware of this tiny little pause at the top and the bottom of each breath. So you're working with a full yogic breath. You're working with counting in and counting out, and being aware of the tiny pause at the top and the bottom of the breath. So I'm going to invite you to pause the video for a moment and to work with that practice for a few minutes, 5 or 10 minutes, and then come back and join me to start again. I hope you enjoyed your breathing practice. I'm going to invite you now to come up to standing. Okay, so from here we're going to find our Tadasana. So having a look down at your feet, rolling the shoulders back to make sure you're standing up nice and tall, giving the arms a shake, and then just let them flop down by the sides. Beautiful. And we're just going to take a couple of turns with the legs. So this is a little bit of a balance, standing on one leg as we do one, so rotating one knee and then the other. And then we're going to come and see if we can do a little bit of balance. So raising up onto tiptoes, just doing your best. If you're a bit wobbly today, don't beat yourself up, that's absolutely fine. Coming back down. We'll do that again, raising up stretching up through the fingers and then gently coming down. Beautiful. So then we're going to come into a slightly open position, standing position here. So from here I'm going to invite you to then lift up the heel of I'm calling this the back foot, and put that heel down again so that your toes are slightly pointing inwards, and then lift the toes of the other foot and turn it out. So we're coming into a sort of triangle legs here pose. So if you want to open your legs a bit further, then do that, or just being where's right for you. So I've gone sort of diagonally now because of the way that my hips are pointing. So I'm going to try and turn my chest to face the camera here. And then from here I'm going to raise the arms up, looking forwards, and we're going to do a little gentle triangle. So just see if you can reach out to the side, to the front foot, over the front foot a little bit, just going to where you can go. And once you feel like you've got to where you can go, then you can begin to come over. If you feel yourself turning in like this, then that's as far as you need to go. We're trying to keep the body facing forwards. So if you're ending up like this, that's not what we're after. So I'd rather that you were literally only going that far, and that's your triangle, than that you were ending up like that. So just do what's right for you, going to where you can go, and then having a look up at the top arm. Couple of breaths here. And then from here I'm going to invite you to bend the front leg. We're going to take the weight onto the front leg and just be on the toes of the back leg. And then only if it feels that you want to have a go, we're going to see if we can come into our half moon. So raising the back leg off the ground and looking out forwards, arms up. Beautiful. So I can only do this on that side. I can't do it on the other side, so I'm going to have to modify. So we can turn again so our feet are facing forwards. And then lifting the back heels, lifting the front toes, coming up into our triangle pose, chest pointing forwards. And then from here, just doing what you can do. So I won't be able to go very far at all. That's it. I can already feel it really pulling here. So I have to be very gentle on myself. So you go to wherever you go, remembering to keep your chest nice and open here. And then we're going to bend the front leg, taking the weight onto this leg. And I can't lift my back leg from here. So I'm just doing what I can do, even though I can feel it. So just being really gentle. If you can raise your back leg and come into the half moon, that's wonderful. I'm doing a modified version. And then stepping back into your Tadasana. So I'm going to invite you to come and join me in semi-supine. So we've got heels behind the bottom, hands down on the floor next to you, and we're going to exhale, take the lower spine down to the ground, and then inhale, curling up the tailbone, if you want to, raising up the arms and bringing them to touch the ground behind you. And exhale, coming down. So we're just doing a couple of dynamic bridges here. Inhaling, curling up, raising up, and exhaling down. Beautiful. And then we can just open the arms, drop down the legs, the knees to one side, looking over the other side, and then bringing the knees up to the top, down again to the other side. Beautiful. And then from here, I'm going to invite you to bring the hands down by the sides with the palms facing up, letting the legs come out about mat width apart, dropping them down to the sides. And we're coming into our Shavasana pose, closing the eyes. Maybe just take a couple of deep breaths and sigh out through the mouth. And then we're going to Just let everything go, staying here as long as you like. So don't move just because I do, taking as much time as you want in your resting relaxation. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the practice. Please do give me a like, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and thank you again. Namaste.